Hey folks, hope you're all doing well today. I'm going to get this timer started. This video response to one of my favorite YouTubers, 001, Just for Fun. Hi Cindy. She made a video called Nicest Place. I won't go into detail what it's about. I think the title is pretty self-explanatory. I'm in a good mood today. I'm in a pretty good mood today, I must say. So she wants to know about the nicest places we've ever been. And I've been to a lot of nice places in my life and hope to still go to a lot more nice places. So, you know, every place I've gone to and traveled to, there's always something beautiful about it. I always bring home memories, but I try to make a list of 5 or 6 places, and I'm going to tell you about them in chronological order. First place that was one of the nicest places I've ever been was in Norway. I was 20 years old. It was my first trip to Europe. So I came over to Amsterdam. And I came with 2 buddies of mine. I had absolutely no money on this trip. I had to steal money from bathrooms, actually, for the last 2 weeks of the trip. I was here for about 4 weeks, a little bit over 4 weeks. And like I said, I was 20 years old, so it was like 1973, all hippie stuff. And we ended up traveling on a train. We had a train pass, that whole thing. And there was a place in Norway just south of the Arctic Circle called Mo i Rana. And from there we went off hiking for about 3 days and ended up at a place called the Svartesen Glacier, where we climbed around the glacier. We actually were sleeping on a snowfield off to the side of the glacier, and just spent a few days up there. That was absolutely spectacular. No houses around for maybe 100 miles. It was just that was gorgeous. The second one I want to talk about quickly is quickly, like I could ever talk quickly. Was on my second cross-country motorcycle trip. I went across with my buddy Billy, and that was a nice trip. That was a really nice trip. That was to cover the southern part of the United States. We had 3 trips planned. This was the second one. And this one was through New Mexico, Arizona, Mojave Desert, over to the California coast, and then we followed it up the coast, up to like the Redwoods, just into Oregon actually. That was the turnaround point, and then we would head back down south and then back home south. Southern routes. But there was a campground or a camping place. It wasn't a campground, and it was on a beach, and it was close to the Oregon border, but we set the tent up right on the beach, and it was just breathtaking. It was breathtaking. I don't know any other word for it. Everything about it was perfect. The weather, the food that we made that night, the ride that we took right after eating, and then back to the beach. There's no one around. That was gorgeous. The third place I'll mention is possibly my favorite. It's a paradise, really. It's in British Virgin Islands. It's the island of Tortola. I've been to a couple of islands in that area, but for 5 or 6 years, right in February, I would use 2 weeks of my vacation and go to Tortola. I think it was the second time I went. I went with 2 of my best buddies. They're real knuckleheads, and we stayed in a place called Brewers Bay. We were camping just on a side of like a mangrove. But it's not a mangrove that was in water. It did around the edges of the bay, but where we were, it's almost like there were big bushes, so to speak, right on the beach. And this particular year, I literally did not leave the bay. I'd already been to Tortola once and all over exploring the island, but this year was a rest vacation, and I did for 2 weeks. I didn't leave that bay. I basically was naked as much as I could be. There's no one on the beach. Would buy coconut pies from this woman that lived in the jungle like a half mile away. Would buy these coconut pies that she would make for $1. You know, had great food, great pot, good diving. I'd just roll around in the sand and have a good time, and yeah. That was when I was like 31, 32, so about 1985 or so. Let's see, I'm kind of running out of time. I'm sorry to be long-winded. The fourth one was when I was 37, 38, I went to Alaska, and I did like a 3,000-mile loop in Alaska, starting at, where did I start? I can't even remember. But the best part one is that I'd made sort of reservations in the furthest outpost in Denali National Park for a week at this lodge it was spectacular. It was absolutely spectacular. I actually shot enough good photographs and showed them in a couple of galleries in Boston from that trip. That was a good travel year too. 1990, really good travel year. Right before this trip to Alaska, I'd gone to Europe for 3 weeks. It was a great year, but Denali National Park was spectacular, absolutely spectacular wilderness. A lot of wildlife. The fifth place I'm going to talk about, and I've been to it a couple of times, is in Lower Economy, New Brunswick. There's a small cabin that we can use right on the cliffs. Right, if you look on if you look where Lower Economy is, right at the end of the tidal bore. So the coastline is just unbelievably spectacular. And I've stayed there a couple of times and loved going there. And my last one I'm going to quickly talk about was just 2 years ago when I was 54 in 2008. And we went, my family and I went to northern Spain, past San Sebastian from France, in an area called Asturias. And it's right by the ocean. The coastline is just like these, it's like postcards, And inland is the Picos de Europa, which are spectacular peaks. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. I'm getting a phone call. Thanks for the question, Cindy. Bye-bye.